Hello, Recovery Lives. Pastor Nick here. Listen, it's our anniversary celebration tonight, so I wanted to take time, put something online for you guys that can't join us in person, that you would have something. And I really wanted to talk to you about something interesting tonight, and I'm going to say something crazy in the process of this, but there's something crazy that may sound strange, but here's what I want. Tonight, I want you to get out of your mind. What does that mean? Well, most of the time when we get asked the question, are you out of your mind? It's because we've said something off the wall comment, or we've come up with some harebrained scheme or plan that has just sounded crazy, right? Well, tonight I want to talk to you about another angle on that getting out of your mind thing. The truth is, many times we're better off not sharing the many thoughts that are rolling around our heads. I know I'm ADD and I can think 5,000 things at once. Not all of them are good. And I think most of us have that thing where there's thoughts in our mind that just aren't good. And let's be honest, our brains are rather silly, but sometimes they can be cruel and hurtful and sometimes frightened. We have this fear thoughts in our mind or worst case scenarios. I'm a master of overthinking things. I'm great at going into this thing going, oh, let me see. This could happen or that could happen, or maybe I could just trust that somebody else will come through or God will come through for me and I won't lose all of it. You see, our brains have all this running all the time, and there's thoughts many times are directed, sometimes are directed at others, many times are just directed at ourselves. We have these negative thoughts running through our head, and we get angry at people. Sure, we do that, but many times the thoughts are directed at ourselves. Thoughts like fear and self-doubt, low self-esteem, self-hatred, self-blaming, and 100 other negative thoughts that run through our mind. Maybe it's time to get out of our mind and into a better place. Our minds are our greatest battlefield. They really are. We fight, we battle in our mind all the time. There are things going on in there, not good things. Lord knows that I have this battle going on for, just being a Christian. Like, I want to do what's right, but I can't. Paul said that. And sometimes I mess up, and then I feel guilty about it, and those negative thoughts just ramp up again. Because I didn't do something right, or I did something else wrong. Sometimes we just miss the mark. That's okay. We're going to miss the mark. We're not perfect. What we are is people who can rewrite their thoughts if they try. Our minds are our greatest battlefield, like I said, but this world is set up to make us think negative thoughts. I mean, look at the news. Well, don't look at the news. You're probably better off, right? But if you look at the news or you look at the world around you, it's just all this negativity. And then we have an enemy in the devil who really uses those negative and evil thoughts against us in our mind. He loads our mind in and little whispers in your ear of things. You could think this, or take a look over there, or do that. No. And then all that does is build guilt and lies so that he can still kill and destroy. In fact, John 10:10 reminds us that the thief, talking about Satan, Jesus said, the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But I've come so you may have life to its fullest. And that doesn't mean you're going to be rich and have Cadillacs and whatever. That's not what he's talking about. But you could live life and not live death, which is what we live when we have those negative thoughts, right? It's like hell inside our mind. We have this thought rolling around that we can't get rid of. Well, what if those thoughts were good and positive and helpful? Here's the thing I know. Having lived through things in my life and abusive people and bullies and whatever, the easiest way to destroy a person, the easiest way in the world to destroy a person is to load their mind with negative thoughts about themselves. That's why bullies are so effective, because that's exactly what they do, right? They come into us and they tell us we're no good, and they threaten us, and they give us fear, right? That fear thought and self-doubt. Oh, well, there are a lot of bullies in the world. Not all of them are people. Some of them are just things around us. Some of them are jobs. Some of them are failures that we've had in our past. Some of them are bad choices we made. Those bullies drive these thoughts. And we keep chasing those same thoughts that are breaking us every time, going, what am I going to do with this? How am I going to do this? And let me tell you this, when you're told enough times that you're worthless, you start to think it. And when you think it, you'll start to believe it. And your mind becomes filled with that thought. I know because I've been there and done that. I've been made to feel worthless many times in my life. And when I really got past that and I realized I had to get on the other side of it to see how much that affected me. I had to be over here to understand what happened over here. You have to get past it to look back on it. And I'm asking all of you to take the risk today of getting out of your mind and starting to look elsewhere. Think other ways. Change the way things happen. You know, we can choose to keep replaying those thoughts in our mind, or we can get out of our mind. Because our mind is mostly where that's generated. Sometimes we don't even need people to influence us there. We're just great at bashing ourselves. Matter of fact, my first sponsor in recovery told me that. He said, you don't need anybody to beat you up. You're so good at it yourself. You know, very self-deprecating, very self-loathing and almost, because I didn't like the person I was. But this person helped me see that, you know what? So is everybody else. You're not any worse or any better than anyone else. God sees us all the same. We're broken, imperfect people that God uses perfectly in his kingdom. See, none of those negative thoughts that we see, here's the thing, none of those negative thoughts, these negative things, are true. But our minds become filled with them anyway. Let me ask you this. You had this negative thought that just says something outrageously crazy, because I get them. It's like, you know, what if I die in a car wreck on the way home? What if you don't? You have to start reversing that. What if I don't? You know, I've used this with people in counseling, doing marriage counseling. It's like, you know, I don't think we can make this. And I come back to the answer, what if you could? What if you could? Would it be worth it? What if your life could change? Would it be worth it? You see, changing your life starts changing your thoughts. Now, I recently took some training for something else, and I was given this quote in the training, which really made me think about this. The guy that was giving this talk said, make your thoughts give proof. And I had to think on that a minute, because, you know, I'm not that quick some days, but I think on that a minute. I'm like, make my thoughts give proof. So, is it possible that, you know, a nuclear bomb could drop in my neighborhood? Sure. Is it likely? No, not at all. So why would I worry about that? Why would that be a thought in my head? Well, what about your thoughts like you're not good enough? Well, let's see. I drive a car. I have a job. I can talk. I can write. I can see. I can hear. Maybe I am good enough, just the way I am. I'm not perfect. Perfect is the problem. We're aiming for perfect when we're good enough. You're good enough just like you are. You don't need this. Make your thought give proof. What's your proof that I'm not good enough? What's the proof? Because I messed up once or twice. So did 55,000 other people today. You're not alone, me included. You see, proof comes from truth. And when we ask for truth, then we have to ask something like this. So ask yourself this. Who told you this was true? You know, sometimes it's a bully, it's an enemy, it's the enemy himself. You know, you have to ask yourself, was this a trusted loved one? Or was this an enemy? You know, sometimes people try to say nice things to us and it doesn't work out that way. Sometimes people just try to hurt us because they're hurting. You know, I've never seen anybody hurt other people more than somebody's already been hurt. You're hurting people hurt people. It's just the truth. And we have to accept that and realize it. The second question you have to ask yourself, because this may be a loved one who said something just negative, didn't mean to, is the second question you have to ask, is this truth or is this opinion? Now, that's where it gets hairy, right? If this is somebody's opinion, that's a whole different ballgame. You know, not everyone who says negative things to you is your enemy, but that doesn't make what they say true either. You know, sometimes people say things out of opinion that they know aren't true. Maybe they're trying to motivate you, maybe they're trying to help, or maybe they're just having a bad day. Who knows? It doesn't matter. You have to ask yourself these things. Is, who said that was true? And was it truth or was it opinion? When we start asking those kind of questions in our thoughts, even those thoughts that we roll around our head, that someone else stuck in my head, like up here, they're putting these things in my head, and is it truth or is it their opinion? And who said it? Was this person even somebody I should listen to? I've gotten lots of opinions from people over the years, but it's not really people I would listen to. I'm more advanced in some fields than other people. I've done these broadcasts, I've done other things. When someone who's never stood in front of a camera tells me how to stand in front of a camera, it kind of worries me. If you can tell me I'm doing something wrong and let me see it, that's great. I want to deal with it. But when you're trying to give options to people and you don't know what they do or how they do it, is that truth or is that opinion? You get what I'm saying? So when you ask these questions, you have to start doing this, because here, the only true source of truth is God. Hear that? Every true source of truth is God. You see, we are God's children. Jesus said this, though: I am the way, the truth, and the life. So when we try to get to God, we have to go through Jesus. That's how we do that. But we have to remember that we want truth. So if I'm going to look for truth, I'm always going to look to God, look to the Bible, look to what the Word of God says. God says in His Word that you're valuable and you're loved. You're created in God's image. You're His masterpiece. These are quotes straight from the Bible. You can look them up. Please do, because I want you to. And I'm not going to give you where they are because I want you to go look them up. You're God's masterpiece. You're fearfully and wonderfully made, it says in the Bible. I mean, we start thinking about that. So get out of your mind and start to rewrite those thoughts with what God says about you. In fact, 2 Corinthians 10:5 says this: we destroy arguments of every lofty opinion that's raised against the knowledge of God, and take every thought captive in obedience to Christ. Let me say that again. We take every thought captive in obedience to Christ. So if Jesus says, you are worthy, I died for you on a cross, whatever, that says something. You're made in God's image, you have value, you're loved. The Bible says that, and God said that. Jesus said He's the truth. I'm going to trust it. So we take that thought captive to Christ. I want you to know that you can change the way you think. I want you to get out of your head and do that. Romans 12:2 says, don't copy the behaviors and customs of this world. In other words, don't get stuck in the news or all the lies or all the things that the world is telling you right now. But let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Here's the deal. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. When you like a good and pleasing and perfect life. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be perfect all the time. What I'm saying is that God has better plans for you than those thoughts that people have put in your head. So why don't you lean into those and try it? Because what God has for you is always better. And when you know what God has for you, man, this is God's will for me. I'm doing the wrong thing. That's why it doesn't work. When we start doing that, we understand. And when you're in doubt, I love Philippians 4:8. It's one of my favorite passages in the Bible. It says this: and now, dear brothers and sisters, one final thing. And I'll give you this one final thing. Fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. Now, if you started thinking about things like that, things in your mind that were positive and good and worthy of praise, things about God, things God says about you, and you rewrote those thoughts in your head, what would happen? You know what? You'd be out of your mind and into God's mind about you. I hope you guys take this to heart and get out of your mind. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us on Recover Your Life.